UNL's trusted news source. This is Channel 8 News at 5.
Coming up tonight, a special Halloween for Madonna patients as some gentle giants came to visit.
Plus, police are searching for a suspect after a sexual assault is reported on UNL's campus. But first tonight,
that's why we recommend everyone that's on a private well, test your water.
Just how safe is the water you're drinking in Nebraska? Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Nitrate levels in our water in Nebraska continue to go up.
While most communities treat their water for nitrates, it is raising some concern for rural areas that use private wells. Veronica Barreto talked to a UNL expert on nitrate levels in the state. Veronica?
Fertilizers are essential to Nebraska's agricultural industry, but it also becomes a liability for groundwater affecting many in our state. Known as the breadbasket of the world, the fertile soils of Nebraska and other Midwest states feed millions of Americans. But growing crops oftentimes require fertilizers, and many end up right into our water.
In Nebraska, most of it moves to our groundwater. And since about 85% of the state gets their drinking water from groundwater in Nebraska, that's how it ends up being a health issue.
UNL Water Center says for more than 40 years, levels of nitrate in Nebraska's groundwater have been increasing. They say about 26 to 35% of applied nitrogen to corn is still lost to the environment in Nebraska.
So it's great when it's there for our plants. It's a problem when it gets into our water.
The EPA maximum contaminant level for public water supplies is 10 parts per million. The UNL Nitrate Project, which includes 85 faculty members, says several townships in Nebraska are now above 20 parts per million. They say about 3/4 of the state's population had nitrate levels above the safe level. But it's important to point out most towns and cities like Lincoln treat their water for things like nitrates before it ever gets to you. Power says this is more of an issue for people using private wells.
There's already nitrate there, and so that's why we really encourage everyone to test their wells yearly or every couple years because those levels change.
Power says nitrate levels can be linked to different diseases like pediatric cancer. According to the CDC, Nebraska has the 7th highest pediatric cancer rate in the U.S.
So it's been strongly linked to several cancers, including pediatric cancers, as well as birth defects and thyroid issues throughout our lives.
And Power says the University of Nebraska Extension has many resources for farmers on how they can improve the use of fertilizers. For more information on what things we can do, visit our webpage, KLKNTV.com.
All right, Veronica, thank you for that report. New details tonight on a crash that killed 6 people in Lincoln earlier this month. It happened near 56 and Randolph on October 2nd.
Police say the driver, 26-year-old Jonathan Kurth, was driving more than 100 miles per hour when he lost control and hit a tree. They say his blood alcohol level was 0.211, which is more than twice the legal limit. They say no one in the car was wearing seatbelts. All of the victims ranged in ages from 21 to 24.
Police also released the name of a motorcyclist killed Friday night. They say 30-year-old Trenton Bankhead of Lincoln hit a pickup at 11th and Adams. He was rushed to the hospital where he later died. The investigation on the crash is ongoing. Well, this past weekend, UNL police say a sexual assault happened on the city's campus.
It happened early Sunday morning near 12th and R Streets. That's right near the Sheldon Art Museum. The suspect is described as a short white man with dark hair between the ages of 19 and 22. A safety message was released after the incident was reported. Some students at UNL think police should be doing more to up security around campus, especially at night.
I think UNLPD should be outside at night, especially during Halloween weekend. Like, I know people going out and having fun and partying, but someone could be drunk and not consent and then something happens. I honestly think that there should be security at night.
Police say any students going to Halloween gatherings tonight should use the buddy system and be aware of where their friends are throughout the night. They also offer the Husker Safe Walk. It's a program where they'll provide an escort to all members of the UNL community. Just call that number right there at the bottom of your screen. And of course, today is Halloween. Make sure to check your kids' costumes as they get ready to head out and trick or treat.
That's right. Make sure they can see if they're wearing a mask and aren't tripping over any clothing. If the costume is dark colored, make sure they have some reflective tape so other people, including drivers, can see them. And only trick or treat at homes with the porch light on.
And for the adults that are going to be out celebrating, as we've said many, many times, celebrate responsibly. If you're going to go out and partake in some alcoholic beverages, please find a ride home, call a friend, call your spouse, or use a rideshare app. But as we say, many times throughout the year, just don't drink and drive.
And anyone doing any driving tonight should also remember there will be a lot of kids running around, which means you should be extra prepared to stop at a moment's notice. Police, they're encouraging everyone to walk on sidewalks and use the crosswalks. Patients at Madonna Rehabilitation Hospitals got a special treat today.
They got a chance to paint horses. Madonna has partnered with Windsong Equitherapy, an organization that trains therapy horses. And in the spirit of Halloween, organizers thought getting to paint a fun costume on the horses would be an extra special treat. Horses are known to assist with physical and emotional healing after a traumatic injury or illness, giving patients more confidence in themselves.
I had a gentleman, it was a couple years ago. He had had a stroke, and so his speech had been affected. And when he got around the horse and interacting, he started talking. And his primary therapist had not heard him speak before. So, those are the kind of things that we see when our patients do interact with horses.
And look at this. I don't think those gentle giants seem to mind at all being painted on. Liked the attention and the extra pets and some new colors added to their coat.
And what a great night to go out trick-or-treating with the kids. Let's go to meteorologist Jessica Blum with a look at your first forecast. Jessica?
Yeah, good evening, guys. Happy Halloween to everyone. We had a great Halloween weekend to celebrate some of these warmer temperatures that are going to be sticking with us for the time being. We got into the 70s both Saturday and Sunday, and again today. As we look outside, some of those clouds from this weekend definitely cleared way, and we're looking at Groundworks Cam, just a bunch of blue skies, some higher clouds off to the north, but really nothing in the way that's going to interrupt any of the beautiful temperatures going into this evening. So right now, airport's reading 72 degrees. It's 72 degrees in East Campus as well as Yankee Hill Road. But then looking across the area, Lincoln's been warmer as well as Grand Island at this hour. Beatrice 71 degrees, Hebron 70 as well as 69 in Omaha. But everyone really got into the 70s today, enjoying the warmer weather. Satellite and radar showing clear skies as of this hour too. And we're going to continue that way going into the rest of the evening with temperatures right around 65 degrees at 6 o'clock as trick-or-treaters are starting to head out the door, and then we'll slide into the 50s slowly as we go on in the rest of the night. But calm winds, clear skies. It's really going to be a beautiful time of the year, and maybe if your kid's dressed up as a werewolf, they'll want to howl at the moon tonight, something like that. It's going to be beautiful tonight.
A lot of bats out there as well. So, yes. Yeah, all right. Thank you, Jessica. The Lancaster County Commissioner's Office will have extended hours beginning tomorrow for early voting ahead of the midterm elections.
Here's a look at when it will open. You can see the office will even be open on Saturday for 4 hours from 8 to noon. We'll have more information on the upcoming election throughout the week, so make sure to stay tuned in to Channel 8 on air and online. And Election Day is now only 8 days away as Americans are voting early in big numbers for the pivotal November midterm elections.
Both parties are ramping up in key states to fire up their voters as a new poll finds rising momentum for Republicans. ABC's Justin Finch has more on that and efforts to keep elections safe.
With just over 1 week until Election Day, Republicans and Democrats are pulling out their biggest names to crisscross the country and make their closing argument to voters.
It could really come down to just a handful of votes.
You have the power to turn the page.
On Capitol Hill, control of Congress hangs in the balance. Republicans predicting midterm election wins that will net them majorities in both the House and Senate.
This is our year. The Democrats can't run on anything they've done.
A new ABC News Ipsos poll showing half of all voters prioritizing issues around the economy and inflation. Issues polls suggest favor Republicans this year.
They can't hear you boo, but they can hear you vote.
Former President Barack Obama barnstorming key battleground states, stumping for Democrats and arguing Republicans have no plan to fix inflation.
The Republicans are having a field day running ads, talking about it. But what is their actual solution to it?
Americans have already cast more than 21 million ballots in early voting. And though the economy is motivating voters, Democrats are betting abortion rights will drive turnout as well.
Obviously, the Democratic base heavily gender biased towards women, and I think women have not forgotten that reproductive rights are on the agenda.
After the attack on House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband last week, growing concern about security for elected officials and poll workers.
We're putting out information to make sure that state and local election officials have the information that they need to protect their voting system.
With just 1 week to go, former Presidents Trump and Obama and President Joe Biden are set to campaign at events in the key battleground state of Pennsylvania this coming Saturday. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
And coming up, after 5 years, a major break in the Delphi, Indiana murders of 2 8th-grade girls.
The details, plus look at your full forecast after the break.
Now to a breakthrough in the Delphi double murder investigation.
More than 5 years after 2 young girls vanished while hiking in Indiana, a man is now in custody in connection with the case. ABC's Rena Roy has the latest.
5 years later, a major break in the so-called Delphi murders. Indiana State Police arresting 50-year-old Richard Allen for the killings of 8th graders Abby Williams and Libby German.
Today is not a day to celebrate, but the arrest of Richard M. Allen of Delphi on 2 counts of murder is sure a major step in leading to the conclusion of this long-term and complex investigation.
13-year-old Williams and 14-year-old German mysteriously vanished after going for a hike on a day off from school back in February of 2017 in Delphi, about 70 miles north of Indianapolis. The bodies of the best friends were found the next day on Valentine's Day.
We've never forgotten them. Everybody's going to keep them in their minds forever.
The murders rattling the small, tight-knit town of just about 3,000 people. Allen, taken into custody last week, is a member of the Delphi community who worked at a local CVS. Police have sifted through a substantial amount of evidence, including thousands of tips and a digital trail from German. In 2017, they released this grainy image of a suspect who police say was on the trail the day the girls went missing. 2 years later, releasing this brief video clip taken from German's phone. This chilling recording thought to be the killer's voice. German's sister tweeting, "We got him." Allen is being held without bond and has pleaded not guilty. His trial is set to begin in March. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Now, your Storm Alert team forecast with meteorologist Jessica Blum.
Gosh, looking outside at this hour, I don't think we could ask for better conditions on this Halloween holiday. And just to think, in a week, this is going to be a different scene. We're going to see sunsets at this time next week when we start to fall back an hour on Sunday. So definitely a different look out there right now, but we'll enjoy the sunset as we have it. 27th and Yankee Hill looking pretty active right now, but blue skies across the area. So temperatures in Lincoln right now at 72 degrees as well as 72 in Wahoo. It's been warmer in Grand Island. They're at 73 right now as well as 71 across most of the Tri-Cities. But again, looking across the state, it's been pretty similar out there this weekend and looking across the state today. A little bit cooler in Chadron and Scottsbluff right at 68 degrees. But mostly clear skies across the state as we can see from satellite and radar. There's some higher clouds moving into the Panhandle right now, but again, it's going to be a beautiful holiday for most of the state going into this evening. And looking at stormcasts, there really isn't much to show through this evening and going into tomorrow morning besides clear skies, which will help us cool down quite effectively into the 30s this evening. And then looking at Halloween again, we're just going to have temperatures right around the mid 60s and the lower 60s going into the rest of the evening with winds out of the south anywhere from 3 to 5 miles per hour, but a beautiful weekend at that. So the forecast tonight, low is going to be right around 37 degrees. We'll be clearing out and we'll be cooler yet with those clear skies across the area. And then looking at temperatures, we're going to be right around 73 degrees tomorrow, even warmer, and it'll be another great, beautiful day with winds anywhere out of 3 to 5 miles per hour. And then going forward, we're going to continue to warm up with winds gusting anywhere from 30 to 35 miles per hour on Wednesday. So just across the board on these next several days as we start the month of November, we're just going to be unseasonably warm for this time of the year. Temperatures above normal by 15, 16 degrees or so. And looking at temperatures going ahead, we can see that Tuesday at a temperature right around 78 degrees. We're expecting 79, maybe even pushing 80 on Wednesday because of some of those southern winds bringing a lot warmer temperatures. Thursday 76, and then a cold front comes crashing through. We'll experience quite a temperature change from Thursday into Friday as we could see some late storms going into Thursday evening and Friday, and temperatures drop off back into the 50s by the start of the weekend. But again, looking at the forecast coming up, we've got the change of the calendar on Tuesday, November 1st. I can't believe it. I mean, where did October go, honestly? But temperatures getting back into the upper 70s through the rest of the week. We've got storm chances Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then maybe a morning chance into Sunday. But again, those temperatures cooling back into the 50s by the weekend. And then we jump back into the 60s in time for Sunday, which will be time to turn those clocks back around as we go forward in the forecast, and temperatures back into the 60s by Monday and Tuesday. And we'll even out for this time of the year going forward. November average temperatures are usually around the upper 50s, and then we'll start to cool off for the rest of the month. But then even low temperatures just in the upper 40s and lower 30s going into the rest of the week. So a lot to look forward to for the next 10 days or so. We look at temperatures nearing normal again, but again, unseasonably warm temperatures for the next several days to take advantage of. Temperatures at 78, 79. I don't know, we might be pushing 80s, and I don't know if I could say that before. Did you guys expect to see that again?
No. And it feels weird to be talking about 80s when I know it's Halloween, you know?
Right.
Exactly. The possibility of that.
Today into work, it was so nice just to have the window down a couple of inches there and just letting fresh air in. I didn't have the air on. I didn't have the heater on.
No, it was a really nice day.
Just let Mother Nature take it.
Rod, you can look forward to that for the next several days.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Jessica.
Isn't she great?
Thanks, love her.
Jessica. Look at Wall Street now. A negative day, though, today. The Dow falling 129 points. NASDAQ also down 114. S&P losing 29 points. Here are your numbers. You're watching Channel 8, Nebraska's trusted news source.
This An amazing technological marvel manages to eclipse the staggering beauty of the Alps while bringing in nearly 2 centuries of train travel in record-breaking fashion.
Jeremy Roth has tonight's Take a Look at This.
Well, Halloween is finally here, and you're no doubt ready for some hokey holiday hoopla, but first, you gotta take a look at this. It's the mind-boggling maiden run of the world's longest passenger train. Switzerland debuted the amazing technical transportational feat to celebrate the 175th anniversary of the country's first railway system. And the crowds that flocked and gawked at this modern marvel were not disappointed. The engine twisted and turned through the majestic mountainous Albula line, pulling a whopping 100 cars stretched out to a length of almost 1.2 miles long. That's scary long. Speaking of scary, customers at this Wisconsin car wash were treated to a spooky seasonal send-up of the sparkling clean service. The Tunnel of Terror has been making the rounds at Tommy's car wash locations nationwide this season and promised to, quote, scare the socks off your entire vehicle. Let's hope it's not too frightening, though, or else customers might end up having to clean the insides of their car. And finally, wet and wild is how these Florida Keys folks like their All Hallows Eve ballyhoo. The annual underwater pumpkin carving contest took place 5 miles off Key Largo and featured 18 scuba divers carving jack-o'-lanterns 25 feet below the surface. The real winners here were the fish that got to feast off free floating carved kibble from this kooky competition that was nautical, aquatical, and highly methodical. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Finally today, patients and families in the NICU at Bryan Health got into Halloween spirit. Parents dressed up their newest additions in costume to celebrate their first Halloween.
That's right. Costume choices varied from peanut butter and jelly for a set of twins to a bumblebee, a football, Mr. Potato Head, a butterfly, and a heart. Look at that.
There's peanut butter and jelly.
Oh, let's just watch these come by. The bumblebee. Yeah. You know, as we look at these, the costumes were gifted to Bryan by Connected Forever. It's a Nebraska-based nonprofit who supports families experiencing pregnancy loss, infant loss, or a NICU stay. The organization donates hundreds of costumes to hospitals across Nebraska every year, and the outfits are unique and handmade by former NICU moms.
How special is that?
That doesn't warm your heart, I'll tell you what.
So precious.
All right, let's get a final check of the weather.
Yeah, we've got unseasonably warm temperatures. It'd be a great day to be born today. I mean, bringing those baby home in the great weather. We got 78 degrees expected tomorrow, 79 by Wednesday, and then we start to cool off into the weekend. We'll see quite the temperature crash Thursday into Friday. Temperatures back into the 50s by the weekend, and then it'll be time to set those clocks back. Got to remember to do that by Sunday night, but again, temperatures rounding out right about the rest of the weekend.
All right, thank you, Jessica, and thank you all for joining us.
World News is next. We'll see you back here at 6.
With the Channel 8 News mobile app, you'll be the first to know. Get alerts about breaking news and weather, all in the palm of your hand.
We only do one thing at Comfort Made Mattress Factory, handcraft the highest quality mattress possible. It's backed by a lifetime comfort guarantee. Come see us.